I think Linux bloat is a very interesting topic that I've heard a lot of people discuss, and people will talk about something having more functionality as being bloated. But the way that I look at it is, if you're using that functionality,
Yeah,
I wouldn't call that bloat. Bloat is the extra things that you don't need that just happen to come along with it. A good example of this is
exactly.
when I installed right now I'm running KDE Plasma 6, and a lot of people said, why didn't you install the entire application suite and all of these other little packages? Why did you just go with just installing Plasma and then little things along the way? And my basic idea is, I don't really care about most of Plasma. Anything that is a hard dependency of Plasma that it needs to function correctly should be coming with that package. Now, turns out there's some things that don't, and that's raised some issues that I've discussed with some KDE people. But I don't need the file manager or their random web browser that is barely updated, or these random other things.
Yeah,
I have my own tooling. Like, KDE has a built-in application launcher. I don't use that because I have a perfectly good application launcher. I'm gonna keep using that one.
which one do you use as
Right now I'm
application
using
launcher?
Toffee, which is a Wayland rewrite of dmenu.
Yeah, I saw that once. Like for me, I use a tool called dmenu run. Like it uses dmenu under the hood. Like it's a really good another really good cyclist software. Like I also use dmenu to like get passwords, like get
Yep.
templates to my clipboard. Like I have written many scripts using
That is
dmenu under
exactly
the.
the reason why I don't want to get rid of Toffee. Toffee takes in
Yeah,
data in the exact same way that dmenu does. So when I was
yeah,
on X11, I had written a lot of scripts. Like, my browser bookmarks, it aren't in my browser. I have a script outside of it that will open them inside of a browser. So if I want to change from Firefox to
yeah.
Brave or Chromium, I can just swap my environment variable points to, and all of a sudden, those browser bookmarks just work on another browser. And there's other just random little things I have that it's very convenient to just have a menu that takes in new line separated data. There is a lot of things you can control that with if you're willing to write a little bit of wrapper script around it to add that
Exactly.
functionality.
And it's very simple. Like as long as you know what you want to achieve, like how you get password from password store, for example, as long as you know this, like you can then just write a simple script that lists the available files and pipe it to the menu and pipe it to the actual program that you would like the thing that you selected to run on, and like everything would just work fine. And I really like that little tool. Like it's really good.
The only reason that I don't use dmenu anymore is because on Wayland, the way
Yeah.
that a window can tell the desktop that it always wants to appear on the top is different. So dmenu acts like a regular window, so sometimes it might appear
Hmm.
behind things, and that's just inconvenient. Whereas with Toffee and other of these rewrites of dmenu, they make use of the protocol that will say always appear on top, and it just works like I'd expect. Otherwise, I would still just be using dmenu because there's nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly fine
Yeah,
otherwise.
exactly. Like I feel the same about the tool, like you mentioned. Like as long as it gets the thing done in a non-bloated way, and by non-bloated I mean with as few as features as you need, like everything is fine.
A bit before, you mentioned that you feel that your neovim config has way too much in it. What
Yeah.
what's in it that you would like to get rid of, that you feel like is kind of excessive?
Um, that's a good question, and like right now, I'm not sure whether I would like to get rid of them, but if there was way to like reduce the lines of code or stuff like that, I would appreciate that. But like the things I am using with my neovim configuration is like so basically like I set up my LSP configs so that I get this syntax highlighting or warnings like you are writing this thing wrong, etc. kind of things. Like, and even this is something relatively new. Like I wouldn't use LSP for like few months ago, like until few months ago or so. Like even this is something relatively new. But I like the LSPs and it's nice having them. Like I have some plugins by this guy called T-Pop. Like he's one of the most common plugin writers in the neovim ecosystem. Like for commenting stuff and surrounding text, kind of simple plugins. Like I also have some few plugins that make my neovim look nicer, like changing themes, coloring, and so on. Like if I would delete them, I wouldn't lose anything, for example. But I just keep them so that my neovim feels cozy and stuff like that. And like the most bloated plugin I probably have, like I wouldn't call it bloated because I use it, I like it. Like it's called Telescope. Like it's
I heard
written
about
by
that
this.
from another person
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah.
What is that?
Like do you know FCF, like
Yeah,
fuzzy finding? Yeah, yeah. So they basically built something in neovim that uses FCF under the hood to like open files and to do something like finding the files with certain text, like these kind
Right.
of stuff.
Yeah, there used to be another plugin. I want to say it was just called FZF Envim or something like that, which did a
Yeah,
similar thing to that. But
yeah.
yeah, I guess that's just a newer, more. Oh, it's written in Lua. Okay, so it's one built from the ground up for neovim. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So I am not sure about whether I need this program or not because even before using this, like I already had a shell alias that uses FCF to open files in the current editor that I was using. What I would was basically just type E and press, like E was alias for edit, and when I press it, it would list the files that I could open in neovim. But having a easy way to open things in neovim itself is also good. Like the way I was doing before was opening things from shell, like not in neovim.